What is up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of the Dense Pixels podcast. I'm your host, Brad, joined by my co-hosts, Micah and Terrence.
What's up?
So we will have a Survivor Series recap later in the show. For you non-wrestling fans, we will give you plenty of warning. We're going to be talking about the Game Awards nominees today. Micah and Terrence have not seen the nominee list, so you will get their real-time reactions to the nominees. Should be interesting. 2019 has been a great year in gaming, guys. I don't think any of us realized it until just now. But first, I wanted to pass the baton to Terrence, who finished Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
That is correct. I finished it last night. I never bumped the difficulty down because fuck that, I ain't no bitch. It was tough. They almost had me, but I got through it on that. I think it was Jedi Master, whatever. I actually enjoyed the ending. It's a little surprise ending, but it's dope. Again, I was talking to Micah earlier, or these two guys earlier, about the some people not liking it. I'm not a Star Wars fanatic, so but I know the lore well enough.
Mm-hmm. Micah, have you beat it yet?
No, I'm back to the Outer Worlds. I wanna finish. That is a game that I actually want to finish.
Okay.
Right. Once I finish Star Wars, I turned Outer Worlds on to start finishing that too myself.
Yeah, because that is holding my interest a little more than what did Jay call him? The Howdy Doody Jedi.
Right. The funny thing is, the more I played of the game, the more I enjoyed it. Like, how many hours did you put into? Like one, Brad?
1.5. 1.5.
An hour and a half.
Yes.
Oh, wait. Yeah. I think it took me about 20 hours to finish it. Because of the difficulty, and I died a lot. I'm not even gonna lie. But once you get more of his powers and you start using them in battle, like it becomes kind of dope. Like it's just a fun game. Like now I'm going back through it to explore and to try to collect all the shit that I didn't get, which I'm not gonna do. I'm just not, because because some games, once you finish, like the secrets not secrets, but like other things that you haven't picked up, you get a item that makes them show up on the map. Nah, not in this game. You just gotta fucking traverse these gigantic maps to try to find these secrets. And I'm like, when I saw I was like 88% done with the map, and I'm like, I could have sworn I fucking traversed the whole thing. But then another secret opened up because I have a move that I didn't have before. It's like Metroid. You get moves that you can open up more of the map. Nah, I'm not gonna get the platinum trophy for this game. I'm just not.
Fair enough.
But it's a fun. Like, I really like it. It's a really good game. Like it's a solid game. And I wanted a single player action adventure game, and this kind of satiated my my thirst for that. Good. You should give it another try.
I will not, though. I will not. Like I said, I'm much more likely to check out Outer Worlds at some point than I am to revisit Star Wars.
I don't think I will.
Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah, and I started, and there was a free demo for Borderlands 3 that I hadn't picked up. That's fun. It's a fun game. I'm not gonna buy it though, because I don't think I'm gonna finish it. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna finish it. I think I'm Borderlands out. Honestly,
it's a long game too.
I'll put like 5 hours into it. That little preview I had, I put 5 hours, and I had just got off the fucking ship that you get.
Yeah, like that intro section that does take a good 5 to 6 hours. So.
But yeah, like the guns feel so much better than the first three games. Like they have a lot of weight to them, and they just all feel different.
Yeah, I picked it back up last week because Destiny, I've pretty much done everything I can do this season in Destiny, so I've got to wait for the next season to start. So I picked Borderlands back up because I hadn't done the Bloody Harvest event yet. And yeah, I forgot how fun. Like I said, even not playing it for a month, how fun and how cool the guns are.
Like the traversal is way better. Like you couldn't climb up shit before. Like the slide improves your ability to duck behind cover and all other shit. Like it's fun, but again, I don't think I'm gonna. It's $40 now because it's Black Friday sale going on PlayStation 4 right now. But I still don't think I'm gonna buy it.
Who did you pick?
The dude with the drone.
Oh, Zane.
Oh, okay.
Zane, yeah.
I can't wrap my head around how to play that character.
Yeah, I was putting points in, so I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna throw out this clone and then just run around. everyone's focused on the clone. So I just run around behind them and shoot them in the back. That's pretty much what I was doing.
Speaking of Black
they
Friday,
have, like cryo, like there's a lot going on in that fucking game.
There is
a lot more, but again, I ain't buying it unless somebody give it to me for free.
Micah, before we hop up Borderlands, did you do the Bloody Harvest mission yet? I mean, it's one mission basically, and then the other mechanic that is in the game.
No, I haven't. Once I got my second character to 50, I just kind of put it down.
Okay.
And by then, like the Outer Worlds came out and all this other stuff started coming out, and I was just like, all right, well, I'll just go back to that later.
Okay. I mean, you don't have to. I mean, again, it's one mission unless you really want some of the loot that's in there. You can skip it. Like, I hope the future free events are a little bit more robust than that one is.
Probably not.
Speaking of Black Friday, I didn't put it on here because I don't have a whole lot to say about it yet. I picked up FIFA today for half price. So I started playing FIFA 20.
So you're still part of the problem.
A little bit. I mean, but look, I gave them half the amount of money that I normally
No,
would.
but you're gonna. How much money are you gonna give them with those fucking?
$0. I don't spend money, real money on Ultimate Team.
Huh. Okay.
They're like if you play it casually, which for FIFA I play it casually compared to most people, you really don't have to. Like you can get a decent team, with just the in-game rewards that you get. Now, if you want a full team of like fucking like 87 to 90 overall players, yeah, you're gonna have to kick out some money dollars. But I don't need all that because I can compete with a good chemistry squad of like 83 level players. So, and that's all you need. So no.
Is that how many people on a soccer team?
What? No, I'm talking about their overall ratings. I'm not talking about the amount of players that you have.
I was about to say, what the fuck? I don't know anything about soccer.
No, it's much like Madden, Micah. The players all have an overall skill rating that is kind of a combination of all their individual attributes that they have.
Now, do the players in European football go crazy about their FIFA rating like the players in American football?
No, because there's so many people that do the ratings because there's over like 2,000 players in FIFA that they have to do ratings for. Whereas in Madden, I think they have like one guy that does all the ratings, and since it's one guy, he could be lobbied individually by specific players. So they don't have to endure that in FIFA too much. Plus the consent. Like the cool thing about FIFA, like, and this is, I don't understand why every sports game doesn't do this. Not to get off on a tangent, but like even like Lionel Messi, who's the best player in the game, is like a 94. Like there's no 100 rated players in the game. Which is
I don't
the
think
way
there
it
is
should
in
be.
Madden either, but I think it's something stupid like 99.
Oh, there's 99
like,
rated players in Madden, and there's several too. That's the other part too. It's like it's like I think there's at least one for every position in Madden.
Yeah, like, come on,
so,
man.
So fuck all that. But yeah, I don't have a whole lot. It's FIFA. It's FIFA 20. I mean, they added some stuff to Ultimate Team. They added like a season pass style progression in the game, which is just part of it. You don't have to buy that separately. You just get that for playing. There's more, objectives and stuff like that to chase. So it's fine. It's FIFA.
I thought people were like really upset with FIFA 20 because it was literally FIFA 19 with like different modes. No change in the gameplay at all.
No, they change the gameplay every year. People, it's subtle. I mean, it's not like a, with any sports game, it's not like it's a scorched earth change, but they do tweak and add new features and new moves and stuff like that you can do. But it's still the basic gameplay. It's felt kind of the same since FIFA 18, quite frankly. So that's why I didn't pay $60 for it, because I was playing other stuff and I wasn't jonesing to play it. And when I saw it for half off, I was like, okay, now I'll pull the trigger. So Micah, you've been playing Children of Morta. So
Children of Morta is this like roguelike, and you are the Bergson family, and you are tasked with fighting some sort of calamity that comes around once a generation. And you play as the entire family individually. I think 2 players can play at the same time. And you basically do dungeon runs, and you do dungeon runs to get stronger so that you can complete said dungeon, so that you can move on to the next dungeon. And each family member plays differently. I unlocked the father and the eldest daughter so far. The father is your typical like warrior. He has a shield, he has a sword. All of his moves are based on blocking with the shield and using the sword as your melee attack. The daughter is a ranged character. She's an archer. And the good thing is there are two different types of attack modes. Like you can press one of the face buttons to attack, or you can use the right stick, which really helps with ranged characters like the daughter, because you can play it like a twin stick shooter, right? Because all the enemies they come at you, so you have to do certain dodging and bobbing and weaving and all that stuff. It's actually pretty cool. It's perfect for the Switch, right? Because this is what I use the Switch for, games like this. And you can just do a couple of runs, come back, level up, do whatever, go back in the dungeon. And every time you come back, you get a chance to interact with the family, get to know more about them. Like they have an eldest son who has gone off to war, and it's pretty interesting. So it's a cool little game. I think it's like $20. If you liked Dead Cells, but you want more story, then pick this up.
All right. So new releases. It's Thanksgiving week here in the U.S. There's not usually too much that comes out this week. The most notable thing that I saw is that the Five Nights at Freddy's games are releasing on console this week, about 3 years too late. So
that's cute.
And that's it. That's literally it, as far as the releases go.
Yeah. Who really? I mean, I'm happy for whoever made that game, right? But at the same time, like, kind of sick of it. I don't understand the fad, but
I forgot all about it, to be honest with you.
Completely. Yeah, like it's just I just remember everybody. That game led to videos that I hate, where it's people giving like forced fake reactions. Whoa, I'm so scared. Like, all right, calm down, Kermit. Just fuck over there. Anyway, awkward transition. Go to youtube.com/densepixels and subscribe. You get new episodes, new clips every week. You could see what we look like. Now, if I were to tell you that Brad is actually an 8-foot tall African medicine man, you'd be like, well, that doesn't sound like Brad at all. And I would say, yeah, that's what Brad looks like. And then you're going to be like, well, I don't believe that at all. I'm going to have to go to youtube.com/densepixels to take a look at Brad for myself. And I'll prove that Micah guy wrong. And I'm saying, hey, I dare you. Do it. I dare you to go to youtube.com/densepixels and see what Brad looks like. He's an 8-foot tall African bushman. While you're on the internet, go to densepixels.com/premium and sign up. For $5 a month or $50 a year, you get access to our premium slate of podcasts, including The Airing of Grievances, the Seinfeld podcast, No Time to Bleed, the action movie review podcast, The Men with the Golden Tongues, starring Brad and myself, where we go over every James Bond movie and spy movie and anything spy related, because Brad and I are in fact former spies, and we let you in on all our little secrets. And full episodes of the Look Forward Political Podcast. Subscribe to all TNP shows wherever you get your podcasts, including the flagship show, the one that started it all, the granddaddy of them all, but we're all over 30, so we can't say it anymore because we don't want granddaddy of them all to make it seem like we're old. So
what?
The one that started it all. Vince McMahon doesn't want people to say that WrestleMania is the granddaddy of them all because he doesn't want people to associate granddads with his organization run by a granddad.
A great granddad almost.
Yeah,
Probably.
probably.
Like 75 years old.
Something like that. The Nerdpocalypse, our pop culture show, Black on Black Cinema, our very unique Black owned and operated Black movie review show. Coming Distractions, our weekly movie review show, and new preview episodes of Look Forward, the political podcast.
Very good. And like I said, Look Forward right now in this point in time in American history is a must listen every single week, especially these past couple of weeks. If you are at all engaged in American politics. So let's get in. So the big story this week, the big story is that the Game Awards 2019 nominees were announced by Geoff Keighley, of course, who hosts the Game Awards every single year. We're going to talk about each of the categories as we do when these come around. Again, Micah and Terrence have not yet seen these, so we're going to get real-time reactions from them. And of course, we will skip over the categories that we do not care about, which this year is a lot of them.
Damn.
So let's start with the big one. The one that I was actually really curious to see what was going to gain nominations, and that is Game of the Year. Now, to qualify for Game of the Year, your game had to be released by November 15th. Now, fortunately, this year, that means that there are no big games that were omitted because every big game came out by November 15th. It also means that a game from last year made the list this year because it released after November 15th last year. So the nominees are Control.
What?
Yes,
Wait, what?
I had the same reaction.
For Game of the Year?
For Game of the Year. That's when I knew that 2019 might not have been as strong a year in gaming as all of us thought. Because Control is nominated, bugs and all, the terrible ending and all, that literally took a point off of Jack's out of 5 score for the game. The ending is nominated for Game of the Year.
Jesus Christ. Wow.
So,
yo, that's wild. I forgot that game existed.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna lie.
Apparently,
Yo,
the judges panel for the Game Awards did not, because they nominated it for Game of the Year.
I thought that game was going to be like. I thought that game was going to be like a budget title. Like I would peruse the store, and I'm like, what the fuck is Control?
$60. Was it like $40 now?
I'm sure.
I think it's on sale. Now. Like 40.
You also have Death Stranding, which I'm sure had the ballot box stuffed by one Geoff Keighley, perhaps.
Yeah.
Now, when you say ballot box, what is the ballot box in this particular?
So, for the Game Awards,
for Geoff Keighley's ass. Come on,
there's that. Resident Evil 2. Resident Evil 2 remake nominated. Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice.
I mean, look. I like Sekiro. Fuck that game. I didn't finish it because like it just got to a point where it was just mean. I just no, fine.
The Outer Worlds and Super Smash Brothers Ultimate, which is what I voted for.
I'd give it to the Outer Worlds because that's a AA title, and it showed up fucking 76, Fallout 76. It's not gonna win.
It's not going to win. Look, I'm going to tell you something right now.
It's going to be between Death Stranding and Resident Evil 2.
I'm going to tell you something right now. Any category that Death Stranding wins is rigged. Any one. Because Geoff Keighley is in the game.
Yeah, the guy that
created the Game Awards is in a game.
I can't wait to hear the constant disclaimer from him during the Game Awards show.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think what's his name is actually on the board as well, Kojima.
Oh, is he? That's interesting.
He's something on the board of this fucking Game Awards.
Did y'all watch that video that I posted in the fan group?
I didn't watch it.
The actual story recap of that game?
Oh no.
Holy shit.
Well, now I'm going to have to, because that you've set it up well.
I mean, Like there's characters and then there's a twin, and then the twin dies, but the character dies, but she has an exact twins, and then there's a reason why the woman is pretending to hold a baby because the baby's not really there, but the baby's there, and the baby died in the womb, but still gave birth. Like what the fuck is going on?
So before you yell at Micah, that specific thing was mentioned in a gameplay trailer, so you can't yell.
Look, I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't care. If that's so what? So what?
Look, here's the deal. I didn't think that Borderlands 3 was going to be nominated for Game of the Year, but I'm upset that Borderlands 3 did not get nominated for Game of the Year, but Control did.
Yo, what the fuck is Control? Like, I've seen reviews for it, and everybody's like, gameplay is fine, but the story is pretty decent.
Right. So.
Like what? How the fuck? Cool. Whatever. You know, that's fine. I don't know games anymore, guys. I don't know about games. I don't know. I don't know what makes a good game anymore. I don't.
Well, do you know what makes a good action game, Terrence? Because here's the nominees for Action Game of the Year. You have Apex Legends. You have Astral Chain. Yeah.
Apex Legends is a first-person shooter.
It's an action game. Much like fellow nominee Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
I mean, at least that has a story that has action in it.
You got Devil May Cry 5.
Yeah, that should win.
You got Gears 5. And you have Metro Exodus.
What did you think of Gears 5, Micah? Did you finish it?
No, I'll go back to it, but I played enough to render a verdict that Devil May Cry should beat it for that. What the fuck?
Yeah, action game. Come on, yo. Like, Devil May Cry doesn't win. That's a travesty, right?
Yo, it's only 2 action games.
All of these are first-person shooters.
Well, that's because there's
a third-person shooter, and the other one is there's 2 action games: Astral Chain and Devil May Cry 5.
That's it. And Devil May Cry 5 is better.
Well, prepare your confusion then for the next category: Best Action Adventure Game.
That's going to be like a Jedi Fallen Order type game, right? Like
I would assume.
Tomb Raider.
Here's the nominees. You have Borderlands 3.
Yo, shut the fuck up.
You have Control. You have Death Stranding.
Yeah, I ain't never seen no action in Death Stranding. There's a lot of adventure when the niggas walking across the United States. That's cool.
You have Resident Evil 2.
I guess.
The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening, and Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice.
Whew.
Sekiro
why is Borderlands a first-person shooter and best action adventure game, but not what was the other one? Best action game?
Well, so here's how they define it: an action game is for the best game in the action genre, focused primarily on combat. Whereas action adventure is for the best action adventure game combining combat with traversal and puzzle solving. That is how they separated those two.
I mean, I guess Apex. Fuck you. Shut up, Jeff.
Yo, Devil May Cry has more puzzles in it than Borderlands. What? This doesn't make sense.
So fucking stupid. If I was on the board, I'd be like, yo, what the fuck am I voting for?
For
these like no.
For art direction, you have Control.
These categories are dumb. That's the problem.
Stranding.
Okay, go ahead. Control again. Wow, really? Seriously, this nigga has how many? That's 3, right?
That's three so far. Are you keeping the unofficial Death Stranding tally?
No, I was talking about Control.
Oh, you're talking about Control.
Death Stranding has 8. I know Death Stranding. Has
Death Stranding has 8.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get there, Micah. We'll get there, Micah. There's one category where it's nominated twice, so we'll get to that.
Yo, shut up! I didn't even know that. I didn't know that.
You have Gris. You have Sayonara Wild Hearts. You have Sekiro, and you have the Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening.
Art direction.
Yep.
Art direction for Death Stranding.
It'll probably go to Gris or whatever.
Or Sayonara Wild Hearts. That's a darling.
Yeah, Gris Sayonara.
So.
Or maybe Control, possibly, but no, I doubt it.
No.
Sekiro Shadows Die Twice for art direction. Shut up.
Control for art direction. Look, everything that I've seen of art direction of Control, everything takes place in stale rooms
It looks like Tron.
Well,
right.
well, Micah,
doesn't look good at all.
not only does Control look amazing, but it sounds amazing because its fourth nomination is for audio design.
God damn.
Alongside Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Gears 5, Resident Evil 2, Sekiro, and Death Stranding.
Yeah, they just
audio
fucking just swapping out the same 7 games. Right? At this point.
The award for Best Community Support. This is for like ongoing games. Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, and Rainbow Six Siege. Destiny 2 better win this, considering them.
Considering they parted ways from fucking Activision, and like people are still playing it strong. Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah.
Look, Fortnite.
Yeah, Fortnite will probably win it.
You're right. Like people watched a fucking black hole for 72 hours, however long it was. So yeah, that's probably gonna win. Community support.
For Content Creator of the Year, I've only heard of Dr. Lupo and Shroud. I
know Shroud.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't know what this fucking...
we will go ahead and skip Esports Coach of the Year. Which none of us would be able to...
Shut up.
We have the Esports Event of the Year, the Overwatch Grand Finals, EVO, Fortnite World Cup, IM Katowice 2019, whatever that is, League of Legends World Championship, and the International.
I mean, if EVO don't win, I don't care. It won't win.
No, right. It's going to be like fucking League of Legends.
Esports Game of the Year, which I'm pretty sure they just have the same 5 games nominated every single year, because it's CSGO, Dota 2, Fortnite, League of Legends, and Overwatch that are nominated.
I don't look. I don't know why the fuck Counter-Strike is like 75 years old at this point, right?
Yeah,
Counter-Strike now since like 2001.
We're gonna skip over all the esports stuff because we don't have
esports host.
Yeah,
that's like.
First of all, where the fuck is Yipes? Fuck you.
I don't even know who that is.
I don't know who Alex Mendez is.
They disrespect.
The only person of color. Oh, well, no, Duan. Okay.
Candace is her American. Esports host. That's like nominating Joe Buck for an award. Like what the fuck?
Joe Buck does get nominated for sports Emmys.
Right, he gets nominated for sports Emmys, not Emmys. What the fuck? Like,
it's still an Emmy. It counts the same.
Nah,
he's an Emmy award-winning a broadcaster.
I don't know why.
Family Game of the Year.
Yo, what the fuck is? No. You're not skipping over esports player. Where the fuck is Sonic Fox?
Oh, that's a fair point.
They disrespect fighting games, man. They disrespect fighting games.
Just wait till we get to Fighting Game of the Year. That's 2 categories away.
I don't even want to know.
That's gonna be
fun. I'm ready.
I might cut this shit the fuck off.
We're gonna get to Family Game first. We got Luigi's Mansion 3, Ring Fit Adventure, which Carrie actually really likes. Super Mario Maker 2.
Apparently that's really good.
Yeah,
Ring Fit Adventure.
Mario Maker 2, Smash Brothers, and Yoshi's Crafted World. They should just call this Best Nintendo Game because that's pretty much going to be what this category is.
It's the whole of the Switch fucking
filled with. All right, so here's Fighting Game of the Year. Okay, ready for this? Buckle up, kids.
Oh, fuck you. I'm looking at it right now.
Buckle up. Off. So we got Dead or Alive. I hope Mike is not looking at it. I can't wait to get his reaction.
I'm not looking at it.
Dead or Alive 6, Mortal Kombat 11, Samurai Showdown, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and Jump Force.
Yo, what? What?
Johnny actually texted me about this, and he's like, I can't believe they nominated Jump Force, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure they just listed every fighting game that came out in 2019.
Honestly, yeah.
Yo, do you need to have 5 nominees?
No. Right. You really don't. Like, it's gonna be either Mortal Kombat 11 or Super Smash, man.
Does Smash come out? Yeah, it'll be Smash.
It's either gonna be Mortal Kombat 11 or Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah, and I think it'll be Smash Brothers.
How the fuck did they put Dead or Alive 6 in there?
Because apparently you need 5. Jump Force.
The Fresh Indie Game Award presented by Subway, recognizing a new independent studio that released their first game in 2019. You have Zaum for Disco Elysium, Nomada Studio for Gris, Dead Toast for My Friend Pedro, Mobius for Outer Wilds, Mega Crit for Slay the Spire, and then House for the Untitled Goose Game, which is probably going to win just because of the Untitled Goose Game, though it should be the Slay the Spire people. Game direction. Can you guys name? Can you guys name the 5 nominees for game direction without having looked at it?
Yeah, I didn't look at it. Death Stranding.
Correct. 1.
Sekiro.
2. Correct. Yes.
That was game of the year.
Modern Warfare.
No, game not nominated. Terrence, that's 1 strike.
Control.
Yes.
Yeah, because what else? Because what are the other ones? What were the game of the year ones? I can't. Look. Those are the only 3 I remember because they keep coming up.
You also have
Gears 5?
Nope, no Gears. Resident Evil 2 and Outer Wilds are also on the list as well.
Oh, Outer Wilds. Okay.
Yeah. Not Outer Worlds.
Not to be confused with Outer Worlds.
Yes.
Outer Wilds. That came up before Outer Worlds.
All right.
Independent game. We have Baba Is You, Disco Elysium, Katana Zero, Outer Wilds, and Untitled Goose Game.
Why'd you skip games for Impact?
I mean, what does that even mean?
Nobody knows what it means.
Yeah.
No,
But
it
it
says
gets the
for a
people
thought-provoking game with a pro-social meaning or message. Got Concrete Genie, Gris, Kind Words,
SJW
Life
award.
is Strange, because yeah, pretty much. And Sea of Solid, well, whatever. I don't know what any of those games are.
You libtard cuck fool or whatever they say.
I'm going to skip
SJW award.
I am going to skip mobile game because I have only heard of Sayonara Wild Hearts and Call of Duty Mobile, which I don't acknowledge. Multiplayer game. You have Apex Legends, Borderlands 3, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Division 2, somehow making it onto the list, and Tetris 99 getting a shout out, which I appreciate. Narrative. I'll give you A Plague Tale, which I've heard many good things about.
Yeah, I have to.
I'll give you Disco Elysium, and I'll give you
good things about the story for that as well.
I'll give you The Outer Worlds. Mike and Terrence, can you name the other 2 games nominated for Best Narrative this year?
I'm guessing it's not
Death
Sekiro.
Stranding.
So,
It's Death Stranding is 1.
and Control.
And
has
Control.
to be on it, right? Oh, come on, yo.
Yeah, shut the fuck up. They're like, really? Okay.
There's an award for the best ongoing game, which has the exact 5 nominees as best community game or whatever. So I'm sure both of those will win.
Ongoing?
Yes, ongoing.
Apex, Destiny. Okay, cool. Whatever.
So for best performance, you have Ashley Birch for The Outer Worlds. You have Courtney Hope for Control. You have she was Parvati.
Okay.
Parvati.
So Courtney Hope, who played the main character in Control. You have Matthew Peretta, who played Dr. Casper Darling in Control. You have Laura Bailey for Gears 5. You have Mads Mikkelsen for Death Stranding.
Of course you do.
And Norman Reedus for Death Stranding.
All right. Oh, this is the one that had 2. Yeah. Fuck off.
Control has 2 as well. I will point out in that category.
Yo, that's right. Control has it. Yo, shut up. Shut up. I hate this. I hate it.
Best RPG, Disco Elysium, Final Fantasy 14, Monster Hunter, Iceborne, The Outer Worlds, and then the token nomination given to Kingdom Hearts 3. Thanks a lot. Cadence of Hyrule is nominated for score and music, along with Death Stranding, Devil May Cry 5, Kingdom Hearts 3, and Sayonara Wild Hearts. Sayonara Wild Hearts probably should win that award, honestly, considering the whole game is based around music. Sports racing game, you have Crash Team Racing Nitro Fuel, Dirt Rally 2.0, eFootball, which is what Pro Evolution Soccer is now, F1 2019, and FIFA 20. Strategy game, you have Fire Emblem, which is going to win, and that's all you need to really care about. And No Man's Sky nominated alongside Beat Saber and Trover for End Blood and Truth, and Asgard's Wrath for VR Game of the Year. So those are your nominees for the Game Awards. How many awards will Death Stranding win?
If it wins 1, it's rigged. is rigged.
The game came out like a week and a half ago.
I
Right.
bet they will find a way to make sure it wins both awards that it's nominated for Norman Reedus and Mads Mikkelsen. I bet they'll find a way.
Nah,
I bet they'll
can't
find
possibly.
a way.
I
Oh,
haven't heard.
the voting was even. It's a first. Norman Reedus and Mads Mikkelsen, come on up and get your award and acknowledge us, please, because we
I haven't heard him say anything in any of the trailers or anything for Death Stranding. Norman Reedus. How many lines of dialogue does he have?
Norman Reedus is the son of Mads Mikkelsen's character. Fuck you. I don't care, yo. I don't care. If you bought that game, you finished it. So fuck off.
I'm going to add a spoiler alert in there probably in post.
I don't care, yo. I don't care. That game.
Yo, that's fucking. Oh shit, that's fucking funny, and that's ridiculous at the same goddamn time. But okay, fine, sure, whatever. Fucking Death Stranding.
There's no way it doesn't win best game direction, right?
Oh, it absolutely is winning game direction, and quite frankly, it's gonna win game of the year.
No, fuck. I'm looking at these game of the year though. Yeah, it's between Death Stranding, Resident Evil, and The Outer Worlds. I think.
I will be shocked if it doesn't win game of the year.
Like Control has so many fucking nominations. Yeah, was it really that good?
I don't think so.
Like I didn't hear. Like I've heard. Like I saw reviews and people were like, "Yeah, it's pretty decent. It's buggy as fuck, but like if you can get through all of that, it's good."
I heard it's one of those games that they have to kind of sell you the ending because it kind of ends in an unsatisfying way. So it has how did this get best art direction? Like I'm looking at a screenshot of this now, and it doesn't. All right, you're right, Terrence. I'm in the same boat with you. I don't know anything about games anymore.
Yeah. I don't know what makes a good game. I don't.
So,
weird fucking nomination. Jesus Christ! But then again, I played like 4 games this year, so whatever.
Speaking of unexpected happenings in the game industry, there's a new Half-Life game coming out, guys. It's a Half-Life VR game that's coming in March 2020. It's called Half-Life Alyx. It is a VR exclusive. It is supposedly a prequel that is set in between Half-Life and Half-Life 2. You'll play as Alyx in the game, as the title would suggest. You'll get gravity gloves, which is apparently how you're going to manipulate objects in the game world. People that have played it said that it's good. They said the game's around the same length as Half-Life 2 is going to be. And they say they actually recommend you play through Half-Life 2 Episode 2 before you play this game, even though it's a prequel to Half-Life 2. So, I don't think this is what people were expecting from a new Half-Life game. But yet, I did not see a lot of rage on the internet about it. So,
right.
I guess people are just happy to get Half-Life. Cool. Yeah.
Looks really cool.
So, full price game, $60.
Or it may be Half-Life 3. Who knows? It's a prequel.
It's Half-Life 1.5 for all intents and purposes. So if you've been waiting and you have a high-end VR, because apparently this is going to take a serious fucking PC to run correctly, right. You can check out the new Half-Life VR game next spring. PUBG in the news. They're keeping up with the rest of the live service game trend going on. They're getting rid of their random loot boxes in the game. So that's a plus. I think this has already happened actually, as of the posting of this podcast. And then the final bit of game news for the week: the first Borderlands 3 campaign DLC is coming out in December. It's called Moxie's Heist of the Handsome Jackpot. It is an Ocean's 11 style DLC where you are infiltrating a casino that is owned by Handsome Jack that used to be owned by Moxie, but he took it over from her. And now that he's dead, she wants you to go get it back. If you watch the trailer, it's got very, again, Ocean's 11 vibe. The soundtrack is very David Holmes-esque. Is David Holmes the guy that does the soundtrack for the Ocean's movie, or am I conflating him with the guy that just offered testimony in the House Committee this last week?
I don't know if it's David Holmes. I'll double check.
Okay, I think that's the same name. And they also released the new free bit of content in the game called the Malawan Takedown. It is a in-game activity with some new exclusive loot, but it is designed for 4 players, and it is a level 50 activity that you have to beat the game in order to access. So that is there for you as well. And I'm looking forward to seeing about the new Borderlands 3 DLC.
It is David Holmes.
Okay, cool. So there's more than one, unsurprisingly. So, and perhaps, Micah, you can buy the new Borderlands DLC with a card that you purchase from a particular website.
Yes, if you go to Amazon.com, that's Amazon. Or no, sorry. Go to take two. Go to www.densepixels.com/Amazon. That's MAAMAM.
Wow.
God damn, I am.
What are you doing?
I'm tired, man. I'm really tired. He woke up last night again. We went to Jamaica. We let him stay with the grandparents, and they just fucked all his sleep patterns up. And now we got to restart. So we're just fucking tired.
You know, perhaps you could go to densepixels.com/Amazon and get yourself a sleep aid, like a sleep sheep for him or something of that nature, or like the noise making turtle that we had for our son when he was growing up as well.
Yes. Go to www.densepixels.com/Amazon for all your Amazon needs. Every time you make a purchase by going to www.densepixels.com/Amazon, you help us out by giving us a little itty bitty finder's fee that is not tacked on to your purchase. Amazon foots the bill for that. And it really helps us out. The more that you buy and the more people that do it really help us out so that we can finally get paid from our boss who has not been paying us. So go to www.densepixels.com/Amazon.
Look, that Cybertruck isn't going to buy itself, Micah. Let's get real.
It's
So
fucking huge, by the way.
it is.
You know, you only need $100 deposit.
What?
to
Right.
get that
So
thing.
fucking reserve it. Yeah. $100 reserve it.
Okay.
And then you've got 3 years to come up with $40,000 to $70,000
Yeah. For
To-
a
to
single
buy
or
the-
triple motor.
to buy the Minecraft car.
That's fucking wild.
So
Are we not going to talk about the Stadia's release?
is it truly? We talked about that last week.
We did, but we talked about it pre-release.
Yeah, but it was based on reviews.
Yeah, now it's come out,
Yeah,
and it's still shitty.
yeah, it's still crap.
Like it's even worse.
There was a fun
Apparently the damn thing's melting.
there was a fun article at Android Central today reminding everybody that you probably shouldn't buy Google hardware at launch because it's always missing features. As a many-time Pixel buyer, I can attest that is correct.
That's your fault.
Look, hey, once it gets all the updates, it's great, but it's just that day one. It's that day one experience that's not always great. But I also don't buy the shit on day one because I'm smart. So, Terrence, are you ejecting
It's melting.
from the podcast?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pull the lever and shoot out of this car.
All right.
Because look, I didn't watch SummerSlam, so I don't know, and I don't know what the fuck is going on. So I'm gonna take off.
All right. Well, Terrence is out of here. We are getting ready to talk a little bit of Survivor Series. So if you are not a fan of the pro wrestling, you can go with Terrence. Hit the bricks. Get out of here.
All right, guys, take it.
See you,
See ya.
Terrence. So yes, Survivor Series came to us this past weekend from Chicago. Always a fun wrestling town for sure.
Yeah.
It's now. Did you watch? I did not get a chance to watch Takeover. I did, of course, read the recaps later on.
I did watch some of Takeover.
Okay.
Every Takeover comes on Saturdays, and that just kind of messes me up.
Yeah.
But I did watch some of it, and I think I'm in love with Rhea Ripley.
That's fine.
I think I'm in love with her.
That's fine. I think it's the same feelings that Jay is having for Fiona Hill after last week. Again, check out Look Forward. Look, the two most important things that you need to know from that pay-per-view is the epic heel turn by Dakota Kai against Tegan Knox and all her friends. That was a good one. Good for her. We'll talk about that when we get to Question of the Week. And then, or when we get to the post office. And then Adam Cole took a disgusting bump from the top of the cage through tables.
Adam Cole might be the best wrestler in the company.
We'll save that talk for later because I think you might be right. Now, I didn't watch the pre-show either. I did not get home until later last night. They counted the pre-show matches in the tally for Survivor Series. But every brand won one match, so they still went into the pay-per-view, all square.
Yeah.
So I was upset that they relegated the tag team match to the pre-show. I was actually quite looking forward to that match. I believe the War Raiders won that one, or the Viking Raiders, whatever the fuck their team name is now, if I'm not mistaken. I know Leo Rush.
No, you're talking about the. You're talking about the main show.
Yeah. No. I'm talking about the pre-show still. The tag team champion triple threat match.
There was some weird tag team battle royale on the pre-show.
Well, that was there too, and that was won by a SmackDown team. And then Leo Rush won the slap together cruiserweight match that they had between Leo Rush and the only two other cruiserweights that aren't in NXT. At this point, it's just 205 Live is now basically a part of NXT. So there is that. So like I said, we start the pay-per-view that proper. We're not counting the pre-show in the official tally. So like I said, it's all square anyway. Now look, they had NXT and Survivor Series for the first time. They're in Chicago. There was never any guess as to how this was going to go.
Right.
They were going to be popping for NXT wrestlers all over the place, for sure. Death Phoenix had a dope blazer, I noted, when they showed her before the pay-per-view started. Very cool. Very Lawler-esque, but much more classy. And we kicked it off with the ladies Survivor Series match. We're not going to list all the participants because that's too many people. 15 people in this match. Now, here's my problem. And this was kind of an issue. And they addressed it better on the men's side as well. So you had War Games the night before, and you had these you had Candice LeRae and Io Shirai using War Games to end a blood feud, and you have Bianca Belair was also on the heel side in that match as well, and she's on this Survivor Series team, and it's weird. You almost have to treat Survivor Series as its own microcosm event, essentially. You can't pay attention to anything outside of what's going on in the Survivor Series, essentially.
Yeah, it's a one-off, right? And they try to justify it by they've got their differences, but they have to come together because they're so proud of their brand. They don't care, guys. It's very weird. You got to treat it as a what if story,
right? And then the other thing is that they would be very inconsistent in kind of attributing how much damage some of the NXT wrestlers took as a result of participating in War Games the night before. Some guys were really beat up, and Rhea Ripley, you wouldn't have even known that she had just wrestled in essentially a 2-on-4 handicap match inside of a double steel cage the previous evening.
Yeah.
So there was a point where Charlotte speared Io Shirai, and Io Shirai has the best ladies sell of a spear that I think I've ever seen. That was pretty fantastic. Also, cannot wait for the Rhea Ripley Charlotte feud that is inevitably coming in a year or two down the road.
Yeah, I think she's got to dethrone Shayna Baszler and have a run at the title for a while. So you won't see her take on Charlotte Flair for a while, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty fucking cool. Now, we did have a little bit of story building in this match. Asuka and Charlotte were having some getting at each other's throats, both on the Raw team. Asuka hit Charlotte with the green mist, which led to Charlotte getting eliminated, and then Asuka just dipped out of the match her damn self. That's being paid off apparently tonight on Raw. They're going to be fighting 1-on-1, and I'm sure that's probably just laying the groundwork for a feud to come. And I think there's supposed to be Charlotte and Becky Lynch versus the Kabuki Warriors at TLC has already been advertised, I think.
Oh wow!
So that's that might be setting that up now. Sounds pretty cool. I was laughing. I don't know if you were laughing at Natalya and Sasha Banks coming together in this temporary alliance, knowing exactly what was about to happen because I too watched WWE television 3 months ago.
I mean, apparently, like even the commentators were like, "Don't trust her." Don't like, what are you doing? But yeah, it look, you can see it coming. I enjoyed it anyway because I don't like Natalya, but it really makes Natalya look stupid.
It does because again, like Sasha Banks literally returned from her hiatus when Natalya was eulogizing the year anniversary of her father's death in the ring. And then they teamed up and she helped Natty perform a heart attack on I can't remember which NXT wrestler they eliminated with that, but yeah, like how did you not see that coming?
Right,
we all saw it coming. That's fine. Now there's a point in the match where Io Shirai and Candice LeRae both got injured, and it was unclear as to how that happened. So they both were helped to the back. And then we come down to Rhea Ripley and Sasha Banks as the final two participants in the match. But then Candice LeRae and Io Shirai were just allowed to gallivant back down to the ring and get involved in shenanigans.
Yeah, that's well. First of all, when I was walking around or doing something, and I had it on television, and my wife was downstairs. She'll watch a few minutes of it before she's like, I can't take this anymore. and I came back in, and she said, "Oh, two of these two are injured," and just the way she said that they were injured, I was like, oh wow, like they really didn't sell that at all.
Well, no, you could tell it was a kayfabe injury just by how the other competitors were reacting. Like that was definitely like a planned portion of the match, essentially.
Okay, it doesn't really make sense, but I'll roll with it.
I mean, were they protecting Sasha? Like, were they making it just so that she didn't have to take a clean loss from Rhea Ripley? That's the only thing I can imagine is that they were keeping her safe. While still putting Rhea Ripley over a bit. Maybe,
because towards the end of this match, I'm like, all right, well, this has to be a vehicle for Rhea Ripley, right? Mm. Like I know Sasha has there's rumors of Sasha being like a bit of a diva and always wanting to be the victor of the thing that is first, right? Mm-hmm. But you can't Sasha doesn't need this. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, I was very happy when she didn't win. But yeah, I guess you're right. I guess it's to keep her strong or whatever.
Yeah. So Rhea Ripley wins on the distraction, basically the interference from Io Shirai and Candice LeRae. So NXT takes the Survivor Series lead. And with this match, and I did this with the other ones, I looked at whose stock benefited the most from the match, kind of like I do in the Royal Rumble, where even if someone doesn't win, like it still helps their career. And I think that obviously Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair were probably the two biggest standouts, or the two people helped the most by this match here tonight.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Quick backstage segment. Seth Rollins confronted Kevin Owens, who was the secret partner for the NXT good guy team in War Games the night before. Of course, Kevin Owens also on Team Raw, so Seth questioned his loyalty to Raw, and Kevin Owens predictably questioned called Seth Rollins out for questioning somebody's loyalty, which is a fair thing to do. Now, I put this on here because I have to point out that Seth Rollins wearing a Michael Jordan Bulls styled like jacket feels like a heel move.
Yeah. What do you think of Seth Rollins?
I think
currently,
I think he's got to turn heel. I think obviously the babyface shtick has worn thin with the audience. And I like him as a heel anyway. Like he's a shitty heel. He's a scumbag. So
he is so much better as a heel in everything that he does. Just for something down to the sound of his voice, just gets on your nerves, right? And he's the perfect heel. He's not quite a chicken shit heel, right? Because he can go, but at the same time, like he's smarmy, man. Right. He's very smarmy, and he needs to play that up, man. And the way he acts on social media and stuff like that, it's like I don't know, man. But he needs to go full heel, man. You don't like me? No, well, I built it up. I can burn it down. Like, all right, well, like let's embrace some of that, man.
Yeah,
because he has, and I hate to keep using this phrase, but he has lived long enough to see himself become the villain. It's time to go ahead and embrace that shit.
Speaking of guys that I don't know how they were ever allowed to be baby faces, Roderick Strong is too good at being a douche to be anything but a heel. The next match was the secondary title matchup between AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Roderick Strong. Now, during this match, obviously I'm a huge Undisputed Era mark. I love Roderick Strong. I think he's a great wrestler. But could you imagine if you take AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura, and the third man in the match is the former North American champion, the Velveteen Dream?
Yeah, I would have liked. He's injured, isn't he?
He's hurt right now. Yes, that's why he dropped him out.
Yeah. I would have. I like that guy. He's got a weird gimmick, but he's all in, and he's not afraid to look, foolish. He still needs, but he's not ready yet. You know what I mean?
Right.
But this would have been a very good platform for him to showcase his talent.
Especially with Nakamura. Could you imagine like the weird dude off that those two guys could have had with one another? That would have been amazing. That would have been great. So I found myself kind of wishing that Velveteen Dream would have been involved in this match. So this one was interesting because I expected this to be the best match on the card, honestly, given the guys involved. But the first 10 minutes were slow. I really enjoyed the last third of the match once they picked up the pace a little bit, but this was a slow moving match at the onset in this one. You did get a fake out on the predictable Tower of Doom spot. Thank God. Super happy about that. And you also had one of my favorite triple threat endings that doesn't seem to get used enough, where AJ Styles leveled Nakamura with the phenomenal forearm, and before he could make the cover, Roderick Strong tosses him out of the ring and steals his pin to get the shit heel triple threat victory to put NXT up to Cobb for the night so far.
It was a fun match, but yeah, it was backloaded.
It was backloaded. That is a good way to put it. So we move on then to the NXT Championship match. Pete Dunne, who won a triple threat match the night before, gets to wrestle against Adam Cole, baby. Now listen. Adam Cole's walking down to the ring. He gets on the apron, and they're talking like, well, like we got to show you what happened last night to Adam Cole, showing the bump that he took off top of the cage. And I said to myself, I'm like, you better wait 30 seconds though, because he's going to do his thing in the middle of the ring where he stands there and throws his hands in the air and the whole crowd shouts "Baby."
Yeah.
But they cut away from that to show the replay. Micah, are they going to cut away from Triple H spitting water on the ring apron when he comes down to the ring? No, they're damn right they're not. Fuck out of here. I was pissed off when they did that shit. I was so angry. I mean, you got it later because of course, since it's a championship match, they did the boxing style in ring announcements, so you still got to get it later on. But I was pissed. I was really mad. I was really mad about that. Adam Cole accompanied to the ring by taped ribs in this match. So the story with this match is that Adam Cole got fucked up in War Games. Pete Dunne fucked his knee up in the triple threat match. So this was just basically two beat up dudes just trying to survive against one another.
Yeah.
And it was a really fucking good match, I thought.
I mean, this was it for me. I loved this match. It's always like I don't get a chance to watch wrestling on Wednesdays as much as I want to. And I don't know if NXT plays. Does NXT play the full show on the network now that it's moved to USA?
I would hope so. I don't see why they wouldn't.
All right, I'll have to check because that's the only time I'll be able to watch it is like while I'm at work on Thursdays or something. But I don't get the point is I don't get to watch NXT as much as I want to. And every time I see NXT superstars wrestle, I'm like, yo, this is so much better than what is going on the main shows. And WWE does a very, very good job. Like, I know people like to shit on WWE. WWE does an incredible job of catching you up with a story if you are have been a lapsed fan. And you know quickly why these two people are fighting, and their promo packages are amazing. And these are just two, like, I quickly got caught up with Adam Cole and what he was doing, and I quickly caught up with Pete. Like, last time I saw Pete Dunne wrestle, he was the NXT UK champ.
Oh, damn, that was forever ago.
Right. So just, and then I'm always just amazed at watching these guys wrestle. I'm like, yo, this is amazing, man.
Yeah, Pete Dunne and Adam Cole deserves a lot of praise for this match, but Pete Dunne is no slouch on his own. He's very good. I like his style too. Like, he has such a and I don't usually like strikers. I've talked about this ad nauseum when we talk about wrestling, but Pete Dunne's style is so unique, and I quite like it. Even though it's more of a striking style in a lot of ways, partly because he does like the fucking like finger torture and stuff like that, which nobody else gets to do.
The small joint manipulation, like it skeeves you out. You know what I mean?
Because you can definitely kind of feel that. We've all been there and had that happen before. Things I'll never get tired of. Top of the list is Adam Cole super kicking people out of moonsaults. I'll never get tired of seeing that. I would love to see that in every single match. Also, they telegraphed this, but fucking Panama Sunrise on the ring apron.
I mean, Jesus Christ! And as most wrestling announcers are quick to tell you, it's the hardest part of the ring.
It's true. So that was pretty cool. And then the finish here was great because you had Cole like doing his best to get over on Dunne, and Dunne set him up for his finisher, the bitter end, but he countered that, flipping over him and just turning the bitter end into another Panama Sunrise, and then he hit him with his last shot knee strike for the pin. There was also a good moment where both of them were making the good, like, I can't believe this dude won't stay down face kind of, and the camera caught that pretty well. So that was a good image for that match. But what a great match. Adam Cole retains, of course, as he was always going to. I mean, this match was slapped together just to kind of fill out the card a little bit for Survivor Series and to feature NXT a little bit. I was surprised when we then went into another championship match. This is the Daniel Bryan versus The Fiend match for the Universal Championship. They kind of rushed this feud together, which is a shame because there's a lot of history that you can draw back on, which they attempted to kind of weave in. I thought the announcers could have done a much better job during the match of kind of weaving that history in.
Yeah, Brian was a member of the Wyatt family at one point,
right?
And they kind of treated this as just these were brand new guys. Both of them were brand new guys, like just with very very little history, other than the fact that one guy wants what the other guy has. And what do you think of what they're doing with Bray Wyatt / The Fiend?
Well, it's so I know they kind of booked themselves into a corner.
Yeah.
In the Seth Rollins feud where they had to put the title on him because they really fucked up at Hell in a Cell. And that's unfortunate because I think that it's difficult to see who's going to beat the Fiend to knock that belt off of him. So
because you don't want I'm assuming they're creating like a new Undertaker type character, right? A character that is a phenom, that is otherworldly. Like people are afraid, in quotes, to wrestle him because they don't know what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never no one can tell me like a legendary Undertaker run with him on top. You know what I mean?
That's
like
fair.
And why would the Fiend want the belt?
I think they do a good enough job of dealing with that aspect in the Firefly Funhouse segments. You know what I mean? Like Bray Wyatt treats it as like a cool toy and like a fun trophy and that kind of thing. Like, so like they at least can address that motivation of sorts. But it's just, like I said, it's difficult to see who is going to beat him, and it's probably going to happen at WrestleMania. But it's just going to be, and God help us if it's Roman Reigns, because the fans are going to fucking rebel against that super hard if that's the case. But we'll see. What do you think about the Kane mood lighting? They're sticking with it with the Fiend and his matches.
Yeah, I don't like it. I'm kind of tired of it. I remember that the in-ring debut when he beat the shit out of Finn Balor, and because Finn Balor wanted a vacation. So, and it was amazing, right? Like they're overproducing him now. Like now that Bray Wyatt has worked to get this character to be something that people love, and the brass is like, oh, people really, really, really love this. Mm-hmm. Like they're overproducing it, I think. And remember when the Firefly Funhouse first started and people didn't know what the hell was going on, and now Michael Cole is like, Michael Cole is like, well, and get ready for another wild segment with the Firefly Funhouse. like this is supposed to be like taking over. You know what I mean? It's supposed to be a force that's just kind of entering, and it's supposed to be chaotic, like a crazy
it's funny because you kind of had the same effect that the old NWO advertisements had during like Nitros back in the day.
Yeah. So it's they haven't fucked it up yet, but I say that sentence very specifically with that word "yet"
right
at the end of it.
Now, I will say this match was excellent, and I have to give credit where credit is due. The match would not have been as excellent as it was if not for the crowd performing their part with Daniel Bryan as they did.
Yeah.
Like they needed the crowd there for those yes moments and for all that, and to get behind Daniel Bryan at the right time in order to make this work. And they definitely came through. I would like to see this feud continue onward because I think they could do an interesting story with it. So I hope this wasn't just a one and done, because I don't think they gave it enough time to breathe with this one. So, but The Fiend retains against Daniel Bryan. He beat him with the mandible claw, countering the running knee. And the Fiend still gets the no-sell finishing moves. So that's still a thing that's happening. So now we turn to the men's Survivor Series match. Now, I was super excited for this match because the Hoss fight potential that was in this match was off the charts.
I mean, there's a bunch of big beefy dudes in there, man.
Right? There was the potential for a Keith Lee Braun Strowman confrontation. Salivating at what that was going to look like, but of course, Drew McIntyre had to ruin it by giving Braun Strowman a Claymore kick on the outside of the ring during the match, and he got counted out of the match. I don't
know what they're doing with Braun Strowman.
Yeah, he's in some kind of a weird holding pattern. It feels like
should have get off the pot with him, man. Like,
right.
I don't know.
I did like Slick Rick's Batman Beyond inspired ring gear. That was pretty cool. So here's the thing about this match. This match was just kind of whatever until we got down to the final four. Once we got down to Ciampa and Keith Lee for NXT, Seth Rollins for Raw, and Roman Reigns for SmackDown, that's where all the fucking moments of this match came. You had you almost had the mini Shield reunion, powerbombing Ciampa through the announce table until Keith Lee came in and made the save. Ciampa looked really fucking strong against Seth Rollins, especially. He actually got to pin Seth Rollins and eliminate him from the match. Mm-hmm. He looked good for Roman Reigns, but the guy who won not only Survivor Series, but also the lead up to Survivor Series, because they have made Keith Lee look like $1 million fucking over the past several weeks leading up to this event.
Yeah. First of all, Keith Lee has a look that is just unique, mm-hmm. right? Like, he's not, bodybuilder type. He doesn't look athletic. He looks like a big ass teddy bear, right? Like, he looks like a big 300-pound teddy bear.
You know what he is? He is the evolutionary version of like a Bam Bam Bigelow or a Vader.
Yes. He can fucking move, dude. And it's amazing to see this big ass dude just running at high speeds and jumping up and down and doing shit off the top rope. And he hit Roman Reigns with the biggest bump I've ever seen Roman Reigns take ever with his Spirit Bomb. I mean, that thing was, I thought it was about to drive him through the mat. And then he kind of like stands him up and to make sure that the shoulders are really fucking down. And Roman Reigns is a big fucking dude, man. Like, this isn't just like, Kevin Owens doing a pop-up powerbomb on someone his equal, which is also impressive. Like, Keith Lee holds you up for a second, kind of like the last ride, and then fucking drives your ass down with a sit-down powerbomb, man. And it's wow.
So, but he did not get the fall on Roman Reigns with that. But it was about as close as you can get. Like, they were disputing on the announce team whether or not Roman Reigns was successful, because the referee actually hit the mat for 3, but then popped up immediately. He's like, no, that was 2. Like, he couldn't hold the count up, basically. Right. Which I don't know if that was on purpose or not. That might have been planned. It might have not been planned. We don't know. And it took 2 Superman punches and a spear to fell Keith Lee. So yeah, he got the acknowledgement from Roman Reigns after the match, the endorsement, as it were. There is no way that within the next 2 months we're either going to see Keith Lee on SmackDown or he's winning the North American Championship at whatever the next takeover event is. One of those two things is going to happen for sure.
All the all the wrestling news says that Vince McMahon fell in love with Keith Lee.
Of course,
after that, right? He fell in love with him, man. So he is prepare for him to have a rocket strapped onto him, man. Because Yeah, that was a hell of a performance.
And like I said, he's looked amazing, and he's so good at a lot of small stuff. Like the endearing thing for me is they were on the last episode of NXT before the pay-per-view. They did the thing where, Raw invaded and SmackDown invaded, and there was the big brawl, and basically everyone was having their turn in the ring to get their stuff in. Like, so one guy would come in and do his finisher on some dude, and then another dude would come in behind him and he'd do his finish on him. Well, the moment that I saw, so Keith Lee, I can't remember who he spirit bombed. He spirit bombed somebody, tossed him out of the ring. And then Ibar from the Viking Raiders came in. And so, two big dudes squaring up, they're getting ready to go. And then Keith Lee just kind of like looked outside the ring and smiled. And then both those dudes fucking ran off the ropes and both did like the no touch fucking flip to the outside on the pile of people. But just like the express, but Keith Lee gave that like little smirk that he does before he did it. And like that shit like that. Like that's fucking perfect.
Yeah, man.
I think so. The other thing I'll say is that they made a big fucking deal earlier in the night about the whole Kevin Owens loyalty thing. They could have done a lot more with that. The only thing that they did do is that Kevin Owens had the opportunity to frog splash either Ciampa or whoever was on the ground for SmackDown, and he like was on the top rope, like looking back and forth at who he was going to do it to, and then he of course did it to the SmackDown guy, which they didn't even address on commentary. Like they could have at least addressed, like, oh, he didn't frog splash Ciampa, and then Ciampa eliminated him from the match shortly thereafter. So, like I said, I feel like a bit of a wasted opportunity there to really have some fun with that.
That just goes to show that Kevin Owens knows his character and he's always present,
right?
Like, whereas some of the commentators aren't. It's just, even though that's your job.
Yep. I would agree. And then this also was a great match for Baron Corbin to increase his shit healery.
I like that guy, man.
You know what? I do too. I know the crowd fucking hates him, but they're supposed to. Like, that's the whole fucking point.
Right.
So SmackDown claws 1 back. So they is now NXT 2, SmackDown 1, Raw 0. So the next match. So this Rey Mysterio Brock Lesnar confrontation, was not looking forward to it. The one positive going into it is that at least there's no one that can ragdoll for Brock Lesnar quite as good as Rey Mysterio can ragdoll for Brock Lesnar. Like, he does that thing where he can like slide out of the ring, like he can just slide on the ring apron and fly 10 feet out of the ring, essentially, onto the bottom rope, like that kind of shit. So I thought at least we would get to see Brock Lesnar do a murder. At least we would get to see him do a murder, and that might be entertaining. But that is not what we got. Instead, we got Brock Lesnar beating up on Rey Mysterio for a while until Rey Mysterio's son, Dominic, came down to the ring. But then the extended hope spot started where basically Dominic and Rey 2-on-1 Lesnar with low blows and a double 619 and a double frog splash off the top.
Do we call that a 1238, which is 619 times 2? Or do we call it a 12-218, which is 6 doubled, 1 double, 9 double?
I like the 1238 better.
Okay,
I like that better.
The Mysterios hit Brock Lesnar with a 1238, and this is the best callback, the longest callback that I've ever seen from WWE. It is a 100% certainty that Dominic is not Eddie Guerrero's son, because that frog splash was not good. It was ugly. It was like he belly flopped on him, man.
I mean, that being said, he's not a bad salesman. Dominic's not so far that we've gotten to see from him so far.
You can pull it off. Look, I gotta admit, man. I gotta admit.
Oh, they did get me for half a second. Like when they were both laying on top of Lesnar after the double frog splash, I was just like, are they really gonna do that?
I thought they were, man. I thought they were, and the optics for me personally, because I see a lot of things through the lens of race. To see these two Latino American men double team what is Hitler's wet dream, a gigantic blonde, blue-eyed, Aryan-looking man. as a father-son duo, because like the fatherhood thing is still new to me, and I'm like, yeah, like it got me pumped, man. And when they hit him with the 1238 and then the doubles frog splash and they both got on top of him, I'm like, holy shit, they're gonna fucking do it. and nah, man, they were just like, fuck you. I hope you had that. I hope you enjoyed that feel good moment.
that was about it. And then the end came shortly after. Look, man, when is Brock Lesnar? I said it before. When is he going to start wearing a cup to the ring? He literally has one weak point, and it's his balls. Because every fucking match that he's lost except for the Goldberg match that he's lost in the last fucking 7 years has been because he gets getting kicked in the nuts by people.
Yeah, man. Like it's I look, just wear it on the outside like a superhero outfit. Then you got to think of something else. You know what I mean?
So the main event tonight is the women's champions triple threat match. And NXT basically has it in the bag at this point. All SmackDown can do is hope to tie NXT for the Survivor Series win. But here's the problem: is that this match was insanely predictable to me. Like there was nothing that happened in this match really that surprised me, given the buildup that had gone into it. Like Bayley was kind of the, cowering heel of sorts during it. The focus on the match was Becky and Shayna Baszler for the most part, which is how they promoted the match going in. I think the most effective thing they could have done was have Bayley look really strong and come out on top in this match, given how they booked it leading in. But she's actually the one that takes the submission to Shayna Baszler.
I didn't think she was going to win, but like you said, it was predictable. The outcome that happened, the way it happened, you could see from a mile away. Like I really wanted Shayna Baszler to make Becky Lynch tap out, but they're obviously going to stretch this out a bit because Becky doesn't have new legitimate contenders that she can go up against. And I'm thinking Shayna Baszler will be it, which leads me to believe that Shayna Baszler will probably drop her NXT women's title rather soon so that they can build up towards a WrestleMania match.
Right. And they should. And to be honest, like I'm ready for Shayna Baszler to go to Raw because again, I'm seeing the potential feuds. Her versus Charlotte, I think would be another great program. Her versus Asuka, which we didn't get to see in NXT, I think could be tremendous as well. Especially because you have Kairi Sane there as well, and they have a long history. Baszler and Kairi Sane do. So, like, I think that could. I think she's ready to move up. I think she's proven that she has come a really long way since we first saw her. And so it'd be good for her to get to Raw sooner rather than later. So here's an interesting question that I have for you. So the way this ended is that Becky got cleaned out on the announce table by Baszler, and then she went in the ring and submitted Bayley. But Becky Lynch was the one who got to stand tall at the end of the pay-per-view. And I feel like maybe, and this might just be because it was the Chicago crowd, and maybe they're just weird, and that's how this is. But I feel like we might be starting to see some cracks in the Becky Lynch fan base tour, because they're starting to give her the overly strong booking a little bit here.
I didn't like that. I didn't like how that ended with Becky's music should not have been playing as the show went off the air. It shouldn't have. She didn't win the match. I'm kind of off the Becky train. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's, the acknowledgement of her and Seth Rollins being together and like people, the heat that he's getting is rubbing off on her. I don't know what it is, but I never bought in. I bought into the man shtick when she was a heel, but the crowd seemed to like it, which turned her anti-heel or anti-face or, a badass good guy. And that's when it started to kind of shake for me, right? Because she's doing more talking than acting, right? Like,
yeah,
she's trying to be the Stone Cold, right?
Right, and I think what we forget is that Steve Austin came to the ring every week and fucking talked on the microphone, but he also fucking gave somebody a Stone Cold Stunner every fucking week as well. Like, it wasn't just him flapping his gums; like, he was beating the shit out of people every week as well.
Right. Whereas Becky is kind of like the episode of South Park that they did on wrestling, where all those kids thought wrestling was just giving monologues. And they were, and they're like, and then their gym teacher was like, "That's not wrestling." It's like, yeah, this is what we see on WWF every week. Like, that's what Becky is doing. She's doing a bunch of talking and not acting. And then, I mean, this is me being a racist, but like, you ain't got the voice to be fucking yelling and screaming like a badass. You need more. She needs more action than talking. Mm-hmm. If she gets back into just beating the shit out of people, which she did when she was earlier in the man persona, mm-hmm. I think I'll be ready to jump back on. But all this hemming and hawing is nonsense. Like, you're not, and when you're in your matches, you're not dominant. Shayna Baszler doesn't do too much talking, probably because part of it is she's not a good talker. Mm-hmm. But she comes in and she beats the shit out of you handily, and her finisher is a violent looking submission that people always tap out to. Like, yeah, Becky needs to reevaluate, in my opinion, and get back to the old Becky Lynch. You know what I mean? and I think that will turn her around. Otherwise, she's gonna go the way of Seth Rollins real quick.
Right. So one question for you before we get into listener questions. Are we gonna just start seeing a couple NXT matches on every WWE pay-per-view here from now on?
Look, this pay-per-view did what I think it was supposed to do, and it made NXT it put NXT on an equal playing field. Mm-hmm. They're no longer the farm leagues. System. Yeah. Right. It gave them a platform, and they showed out. And this made me want to watch NXT. This didn't make me want to watch Raw. This didn't make me want to watch SmackDown. It made me want to watch NXT to see what's going on there. And I think that was the goal, especially now that they have direct competition on Wednesdays. So yeah, I think that you will see a couple more NXT superstars pop up more often, mm-hmm. to remind people, hey, we got this good thing going on Wednesdays. Come watch us. It'll be the wild card rule all over again. Mm-hmm. But let's hope they don't acknowledge it as, well, this is official, the wild card rule. Like just let it happen. You know what I mean?
Okay. We'll go right into the questions here because Cam kind of spins off into this. So he says, are you guys scared that some Fox execs watched Survivor Series this weekend and are about to remind Vince how much money they gave him by requesting a bunch of NXT talent be moved to SmackDown? No, I wouldn't be too concerned about that because, like Micah mentioned, they have competition on Wednesday nights now, so it's in their interest to keep NXT to be as strong as possible. And they're bolstering it. I mean, Finn Balor is back in NXT. He beat Matt Riddle over the weekend, and he has got a new cool heel persona with that he's rocking down there as well. It wouldn't shock me to see Kevin Owens go back down, even though it doesn't seem like that's a guarantee. At some point. So it seems like they're actually really focused on bolstering NXT. And look, with SmackDown, they actually have a stronger, pool than we take a lot of wrestlers for granted. And because we see them all the time and have for several years, we forget like how quality they are. But like Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan, The Fiend, fucking Baron Corbin, whether you like him or not, he's still making people hate him. Like guys like that are going to carry the day. New Day, obviously. So I think SmackDown's fine for right now.
Yeah, for it being on network television, there's a certain tone that you have to have, and the wrestlers there, I mean, minus the Fiend, which is odd, but the wrestlers there match that tone. And yeah, and they're talented, man. Like people shit on WWE. No, man, the wrestlers are really good, man. It's just that, they're giving stupid shit to say.
Yeah.
And they're booked in stupid storylines about, cucking husbands and bastard children and shit like that. Like that's stupid.
So speaking of that, Gary asks, alluding to your mention that apparently Vince fell in love with Keith Lee, how long will it take for Vince to try to move him to SmackDown or Raw and turn him into a pimp or put him in a Who's the Father storyline?
Yeah, I swear to God, yo. I swear to God. I would take it as a personal affront because Keith Lee looks like our friend Rob. And if I have to endure looking at a guy who looks like our friend Rob be a pimp in a Who's Your Daddy storyline, I'm going to be really pissed. I think Malcolm at one point was like, he heard something about, Vince might get him and turn him heel or some shit. And I'm like, yo, that's so the wrong thing to do with this guy. Mm-hmm. It just, yeah.
He's got a way too good face shtick right now. Like the whole bask in his glory chant is too good to turn that dude heel and not get that. Like that's you got to have that.
And Vince will turn him into the new narcissist. Like, oh, bask in my glory. Like, all right. Way to fucking kill it.
Mark says, is it me or is women's wrestling just booming right now? He finds himself giving a shit ton more for their stories and matches and following more of them on Twitter and branching out to their friends in the indies. It is, but it's not because of anything special. They're just treating women's wrestling like wrestling now, where they didn't do that before.
They really didn't. They hired a bunch of models in the 90s to get naked and roll around like some sort of Skinamax, porn. Like they're treating them, like you said, like the athletes that they are. They're hiring athletes, and they're not hiring models or just hiring models and then trying to train them. Mm-hmm. Like they're hiring legit athletes,
and they're putting them in regular storylines. Like the Bailey. Like I'm really enjoying Bailey's heel turn because there is so much depth that they could do with her if they can actually communicate the story well, because she's a character that even though she is a heel, it's very clear that she still deals with a tremendous amount of insecurity and things of that nature. And using that as to lash out at people would be an interesting psychology experiment that you could do really well in pro wrestling. But then again, it is WWE. So
right.
What are you going to do? Speaking of heels, Cam says, if the moon was made from barbecue spare ribs, good callback, by the way. For those that don't know that reference, just Google Will Ferrell, Harry Carey. Would Dakota Kai be dead to you forever for the unwarranted attack on Tegan Nox? Look, man, I'm very excited to see what they do with Dakota Kai from here on out. That's also more fuel to the fire for me that Shayna Baszler's gone sooner rather than later. Because they now have the next another big heel to take her place. But that was a monster heel turn that she got to be part of.
I was like, Jesus Christ, dude! Like this is
she punched William Regal during the fracas.
So I don't know, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Let's see what else we got here. Malcolm says after the weekend she had, how long till Rhea Ripley has the crowd flip on her? I guess he's trying to say that she's getting she looked too strong this weekend. So how long until she gets, the Roman Reigns, turn on him? I don't think that what we saw this weekend was indicative of a long-term thing with her. I think this was putting her on the map and establishing her because she is new even to a subset of the NXT audience because she came from NXT UK. So if you don't follow up with NXT UK, you might be relatively unfamiliar with her as well. And like we've discussed, she almost assuredly is going to be the person to dethrone Shayna Baszler on NXT.
Yeah. Yeah. I think this was just, like you said, just a here I am world. Yeah, I don't think they'll. I don't know. I don't think they'll flip on her just yet. If they would have put her on, you know, SmackDown or some shit like that, then yeah, like all right. But no, I think does Triple H have autonomy with
Essentially,
NXT?
yeah, essentially, Vince really does not stick his nose into that too much.
Now, what about in terms of rotating them? I hate to use the word calling up, the term calling up.
Yeah, I don't even use that term anymore after this weekend. I don't think you can. So,
what about in terms of transitioning them to a different brand? Does it, like, if Vince is like, I want Rhea Ripley and Keith Lee, can Triple H be like, no, we're doing something with them?
I think that he would do, if there was like already story plans in place for those people. I would think that they would probably at least get to run the storylines that they have scheduled for them out before you'd worry about moving them up. At the same time, I would assume that those folks would want to move up to Raw and SmackDown. Like NXT is great and all, but it's not those other two shows, no matter how much you want it to be. So I don't think Triple H would stand in their way. I think he would take care of them, though. I don't think he would let them go up unless there was, story for them to sink their teeth into and not just get lost in the shuffle. You know what I mean?
I mean, I'm reminded of when, Ricochet and Aleister Black and Ciampa and Gargano were caught up, were moved over to Raw for that one night, and then Ricochet and Aleister Black stayed, ended up staying over. I don't know if they were. I don't remember them coming in and having like a tremendous impact. I don't remember when they came in. I remember the crowd just kind of like, "Who is this?"
Right?
Because they weren't really. Yeah, NXT wasn't where it is now. So well, I fear that's what I fear whenever somebody comes over.
Well, Ricochet's had a good run. He was a U.S. champion for a brief amount of time this year. And I mean, Aleister Black, I think they've also, mismanaged pretty poorly so far. He's barely wrestled, even though he's looked strong when he has wrestled. I mean, that's always the trick, right? Like you only have so many hours of TV every week. It's difficult to feature everybody the way that you think they should be featured. And the problem with Raw and SmackDown more so than NXT is that there are certain folks that you need to kind of let be on TV because they're drawing the casual viewers to your show. So that's a consideration as well. We'll end with the second part of Malcolm's question. He asks, what do you think about wrestlers like Luke Harper, Sin Cara, Oni Lorcan, Mike Kanellis is in this group as well, that are being vocal and about requesting their releases and going on like Instagram and social media to do so. Now we're gonna separate the ACH situation from this because that is not nearly in the same ballpark as the rest of these. That's a completely different situation. But what do you think about wrestlers announcing their intentions to want out of their contract publicly as opposed to handling it behind closed doors?
I mean, I'm kind of two minds to it. Like, first and foremost, you got every right to say whatever you want to say, especially if you are unhappy. Now, at the same time, if a company has been good to me, and I'm not saying necessarily that the company has been good to those people. If the company has been good to me, I would do it behind closed doors. Mm-hmm. Much like what's Sean Spears and Goldust did. I mean again,
Cody Rhodes and Cody Rhodes too, for that matter.
And Cody Rhodes. Yeah. But they did it at a very, very different time. And, it was Dustin had the clout, right? Like, come on. Like,
well, did Dustin get out of his contract earlier, or did his contract just run out and he just didn't sign a new deal?
Oh, maybe that's what happened. I thought I heard on a podcast that he got out early, because
if he did, I think it might've been months and not years.
Yeah, it wasn't like years. Yeah. It was just like, hey, can we kind of knock off these last 6 months, because I'm not doing anything and I just want to go on, do my own thing. I want to go to Hollywood. That's what he told them.
Hollywood, Florida.
Right, exactly. But we're in a different time now, right? Like, if you have employees that aren't happy, I mean, I don't know what the penalties are for releasing people from contracts. Like, do you just not pay them out or what have you? But I don't know, man. Like, it feels like the evil corporation is keeping them there just because they can legally, and they're not doing anything with them, and it seems like a waste, and it makes them look like dicks. But at the same time, I wouldn't necessarily go and badmouth the company because it doesn't make me look good.
Well, and I think the reason that people do it is there's this misguided attempt that they think that doing it publicly will somehow raise like this like groundswell of fan support behind you to get your release.
Yeah,
and they think that somehow that gives them additional leverage over WWE, which I mean, I haven't seen anything that suggests that that's the case so far.
Yeah, it doesn't, man. Like, what'll give you leverage if you have a racist ass shirt made and then you're like, hey, this is some racist ass shit, and I don't want to be here anymore. Like, well, yeah, that gives you a little bit of leverage. You're like, look, let's just cut this out and let's just move on. But I read somewhere that WWE would only grant early releases if it felt that the wrestler that wanted the release would in no way, shape, or form be any type of impact if they went to another promotion. Like they wouldn't feel it. So it's like if Luke Harper wanted to leave and WWE granted their release, they think so little of him that, oh yeah, go ahead. We're not missing you.
Right.
And I don't know. If you're confident in your product and you got people that are unhappy and you're paying them, let them go, man. Let them go and do something else with that money. But you got $1 billion. You can do whatever you want.
And to give the counterpoint to that argument, they don't want to fuel their competition. Even no matter how small that competition is or how big it is, they don't want to feed wrestlers to it because that would be silly. And B, those guys signed those contracts. Like there's a major trust me when I say there's a major power discrepancy between employer and employee, especially when it comes to professional wrestling, more than most industries, because they're still essentially independent contractors at the end of the day, which is kind of fucked up. And I can understand why that is not a great situation. But at the same time, WWE's under no obligation to let them go.
Right. And I hate to, we hate to sound like big corporate shills, but, this is how the world works. And I don't know, man. I can see it from both sides, whereas most people can't or refuse to. They see the big corporation should be benevolent. When the fuck have you ever known a big corporation to be benevolent to anyone but themselves? And
that being said, like I think Triple H addressed comments about this, I don't know, interview or podcast, something like that. And he basically said, like, yeah, doing it in public is not like if you have an issue, come talk to me. Like if you have a problem, like we'll hash it out behind the scenes. He's like, but putting it on Twitter or Instagram, he's like, that's not going to help your cause. If anything, I'd be more right. If anything, I'd be more angry about it. I'd be more defiant about it because you don't want to set the precedent that is a successful tactic.
Right. It's letting the inmates run the asylum. It's negotiating with the terrorists, for lack of a better idiom. Like, nah, man, you signed a deal. But like, I totally get it. I totally get not being happy where you are. But like you said, from WWE's perspective, who would have thought that Stardust would be where he is now? You know what I mean?
Right.
And they're not trying to do that, man. They're not trying to get
Yeah, there's enough former WWE guys that left on positive terms at the end of their deals that are helping fuel that right now.
Right.
Trust me, I'm sure Vince is not thrilled to see Jon Moxley fucking tearing shit up over there. I mean, and and to be fair, like Jon Moxley was a great corporate citizen at the end of his deal. Like he ran out his contract, he did whatever they needed him to do until he left. And he left on good terms, and he got a good farewell, and the door's open for him to come back, I'm sure, at some point, and he will, because this is professional wrestling, and we all know how this works.
Right.
But yeah, like I said, I'm sure they'd like to keep him, but his contract was expired, so it is what it is. So that is it. Hope you guys enjoyed our Survivor Series recap. Don't forget to follow us on social media. Just search for Dense Pixels. Join our Facebook group, densepixels.com/fans. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/densepixels. And follow us on streaming. I stream on the Dense Pixels YouTube channel. Carrie is on Twitch at SuppetsCarrie. And Terrence is on Twitch at Apparition410. So that is it. Thank you guys very much for watching and for listening. And we will see you all the next time.
See ya.
You're watching the Dense Pixels YouTube channel. Click the subscribe button while you're here and make sure you check out our weekly podcast where we discuss the latest gaming news and our impressions on what games we've been playing.